Hey folks, Lig here with another epic update. Apologies for missing the last week or so, but real life happened. I'm sure you know what that's like. Hopefully we can overcome that going forward, but no promises. Kind of depends on the curveball that life happens to throw that particular week. I want to start off this time with a public service announcement about the OpenSSL vulnerability called heartbleed. If you're not familiar with OpenSSL, it's an open source algorithm used to encrypt your data online, usually used to protect your username, password, your credit card information maybe, depending on the site. It has a vulnerability in it, which means some of your data may have become vulnerable. Do a Google search, find out what websites are affected by this, whether or not the users of those sites need to change their passwords and whatnot. Might be a good idea to just go change all your passwords anyway. I know that's a big pain in the butt. I got a list from here to the floor of sites that I need to go do that on for both myself, the podcast, and various things like that. The reason I'm bringing this up really is because Blizzard has said Battle.net's not affected. That doesn't mean you can get away with not having an authenticator or a strong password. Really, smartphones, most of us have them, most of us geeks. It's a free app. If you don't have a smartphone, it's $8 for the little key fob. Just get an authenticator, protect your account. Sure, Blizzard can restore your stuff if you get hacked, but isn't it worth $8 just to protect yourself and not have to deal with the pain in the neck? I think it is. Now, moving on to some World of Warcraft news. Blizzard is teaming up with Paul Jr. from the Discovery Channel show American Chopper, and they're coming up with a web series called Azeroth Chopper. They're going to design a Horde-themed bike and an Alliance-themed bike, and we as players are going to get a vote on which one we like the best. That bike is going to get put into the game and available to all players for free. The winning bike will be available only to players of that faction, so if the Horde bike wins, only Horde players will get to use the bike. If the Alliance bike wins, only Alliance players will get to use the bike. Hopefully players will vote on which bike they actually like the best versus I play Horde, I'm voting for the Horde bike because I want free stuff in-game. I know that's how people are going to vote. The reason I say that is because I play both factions, so I'm just going to pick the bike that I like the best. I don't understand why a lot of people were upset about this. They seemed kind of angry that Blizzard was doing this. I don't understand that at all. It's free stuff in-game, and it's a motorcycle that's themed after Horde and a motorcycle themed after Alliance. Maybe I'm a little biased because I ride motorcycles and I play both Horde and Alliance, but I think this is going to be a lot of fun, and it's just kind of cool to see what Paul Jr. is going to be able to do. The guy does some amazing design work on motorcycles for custom bikes. It's really cool what the guy can do. If you're not familiar, if you've never watched American Chopper, I'm not suggesting you go watch the show, but watch the miniseries when it comes out. It premieres April 17th. Probably, I think it's AzerothChoppers.com. You can find it through the World of Warcraft main site, I'm sure. Moving on to the past day or so, if you live under a rock, you are not aware that PAX-East is going on in Boston. If you aren't under that rock, you probably want to be in Boston as bad as I do right now. We got some news out of PAX-East for Hearthstone. In the next week or two, they've said that we will get the global launch of the iPad version of the game. Can't wait for that. Wanted to play this on my tablet for a long time now. So that's coming. That's inevitable. They've had New Zealand, Australia, and Canada, I think, were the countries where they did their initial rollout for beta testing. So it looks like the global launch is coming in the next week or two. Good news for those of us who have iPads. Sorry for those of you on Android, you're still going to have to wait, but it is coming, so please be patient with Blizzard. The development process, from what I've heard, it's way easier for iOS than it is for Android, and they're just having to spend more time doing that, so please be patient with Blizzard. The other thing that came out for Hearthstone is we're getting an adventure mode. They're bringing Naxxramas to Hearthstone. A lot of people cheered about this. I didn't really like Naxx. So I still think it's a cool idea, though. It's going to be various wings, just like Naxx was. The first wing is going to be free with the Arachnid wing. As you progress through and defeat various NPC AI bosses, you're going to unlock cards. A total of 30 cards is going to be available from the little expansion, the Naxxramas wings. It's a total of 30 cards. As each wing becomes available, those cards will be available for you to use in Arena. Now, they didn't say whether or not you have to have bought that wing before it's in Arena. I'm guessing you don't, because that'll maybe kind of market you buying that and kind of tease you into buying it. The first one is free. You have to buy the rest of the wings, and I asked Ben Brode on Twitter whether or not it was a one-time buy or you had to pay each time you ran through, kind of like Arena. He said it's a one-time buy and you go. They did say that there are some class-specific things in there, so priests, warlocks, whatnot. You don't have to have a custom-made priest deck. They're going to give you a pre-made deck, which I am a big fan of because I think that means it's more about the skill than it is about having a bunch of legendaries or whatever super OP cards that you can just crush the AI. I'm liking this. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it plays out. I'm really curious about the replayability of it, though, if I'm going to have to buy the wings. I want to be able to replay them and get some enjoyment out of it rather than just playing through for funsies. That's about it for Hearthstone, but we did get some Heroes of the Storm. Blizzard put Heroes of the Storm in the spotlight, and frankly, outside of the 4 heroes that we got revealed, I wasn't too overwhelmed with what we heard, and I thought it was kind of weird for that game to be in the spotlight and then to kind of let us down with the news. We saw some low-res, the original and the high-res models that they're using, which frankly, we maybe saw some models that we didn't see in the Q&A, but they showed us examples of that in the Q&A. It's still cool to see, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't wowed by any of it. I was kind of impressed with the model or the heroes that they've got coming out, especially Murky. We talked a lot on Twitter today about Murky with some of the folks that I do have conversations with. Murky's going to be an interesting one. He seems to be a guy who just can't fight, but yet he could still take down Diablo. It's just an interesting mechanic that I've never seen a hero like that in any game in the genre, and it's going to be fun to see how Blizzard plays this out. It's really going to be fun to get in and try that character out when I finally get access. Same way with Abathur. I really want to play Abathur. Blizzard's really knocking it out of the park with unique designs on heroes, and I think that and the PvE objectives on the maps are going to make this game a game changer in the genre. And I know I just said game too close together in the same sentence, but anyway, we're going to run with it, and I think that's actually it for this week. So until next time, have fun, y'all.